Welcome to Lord of the Vets, where I've done the research so you don't have to. Don't talk to Dr. Google, you guys. Talk to a real one. Now, today, I'm going to give you some really important pointers for dog health. You're going to save thousands of dollars in vet bills in the process. Today, we're going to the amazing Taylor's Mistake with Utah. So we're here at Taylor's Mistake. Now Taylor's Mistake is a beach here in Banks Peninsula. Banks Peninsula is made up from the old extinct Banks Peninsula volcano, and two old eruption sites make Littleton and Akaroa Harbour. They've now been washed out by the sea. Now an unfortunate captain in the 1800s mistook this beach that we're looking at for Littleton Harbour, and he actually beached his ship here, and the beach has been named after this poor Captain Taylor. Now, ironically, my last name is Taylor, but unlike this beach, my mum told me I'm not a mistake. So let's get into it. I'm going to go over 5 major points with you guys that are really going to help you take really good care of your animal and also save thousands in vet bills. Preventative medicine, baby. Let's get into it. Danny, I've got a question for you. You ready?
I'm ready.
How would you feel if one day you're having a normal week and then suddenly your animal gets sick, you have to go to the vets and you get hit with a really expensive, let's say $1,000 to $2,000 vet bill?
Well, that'd be pretty rough, I think. We'd have to have another look at the budgets and maybe do without some things for a while.
Yeah, so what you're saying is it would hurt the bank budget, it would hurt your pocket?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. The number of times I've been in the clinic and people have come in and they've got a really unexpected diagnosis for their animal, and it's been difficult for them to come up with the money. Sometimes I've actually had to put animals down because people unfortunately weren't able to come up with the money just because they weren't prepared. And there's actually so many things you can do to prevent the animal getting sick in the first place. So that's why I'm going to go over these 5 really important topics with you. You excited?
I'm so excited.
You're pumped? All right, let's get into it. Topic 1, dental disease. So let's talk teeth, Danny. You wouldn't believe how much dental disease I see, especially in older dogs. Small breeds seem to be worse because they've got smaller mouths, their teeth are more kind of bunched together. Now, it's just like a human. If you don't brush your teeth for 10 years, they're going to get rotten and fall out, but people don't seem to make that connection with their dog. They've got to be chewing, they've got to have something abrasive. I have a few different recommendations. The most obvious one, but something that owners don't seem to do a lot of because of the effort required, but I would say it's the best thing, is actually brushing the teeth, just like a human. Now I've got a toothbrush to show you. It's actually not a dog toothbrush. So you can buy special dog toothbrushes from the pet store. You can get ones that have even sort of 3 brushes all angled in, so you just have to run them down the mouth and they get around the whole tooth just with one sort of scrub. They've got sort of longer angles under them. I'll provide a link to a good one below. Now, also the doggy toothpaste is really good because even if you're not able to brush all the teeth, the toothpaste actually prevents the build-up of plaque and will stop the dogs or the gums from getting gingivitis and the teeth from getting rotten and falling out. So another thing that's really important is checking the mouth. So you actually need to be checking and looking at your dog's mouth to see how things are doing and see if a vet visit is required. Shall we take a look at Utah's mouth? Okay, let's have a look. So Utah's teeth, you can see them there. Now, they're actually not too bad in terms of a build-up of plaque or anything like that, but they are quite worn down. Yeah. So I suspect he's been chewing on a lot of stones or bones, hard bones and things like that. Look, he's actually trying to get it. He's trying to get at the bone now. So this will be the culprit. So some dogs do great with bones. Now Utah's been chewing bones for about 10 years, so he absolutely loves them and he's used to chewing bones. There you go. Good boy. Hey, Utah, you're not going to go bury it. We're at the beach, mate. You'll lose it forever. Now, some dogs do great with bones because they just sort of mouth the bones. Other dogs will chew them really hard and they'll actually damage their teeth. So you really have to know your dog as to whether giving them a hard bone's a good idea. There are softer rawhide chew toys and things like that that may be a better option. But like I say, brushing the teeth and having a look in the mouth. If there is any plaque, take them into the vet. It's better to get them clean sooner rather than let it all build up and then there has to be extractions. Topic 2, diet and exercise.
And Kiwi Vet, can you tell me what Utah's weight and body condition is like?
Well, I can, and to be frank, I have to tell you that Utah, he's a bit overweight.
It's a bit chubby.
And by a bit, I mean probably about 10 pounds. That's 5 kgs. Yeah, he needs a bit of a diet. This is a conversation I have to have on a daily basis with owners. I just have to be real honest and be like, your dog's a bit fat, bit overweight, too many pies, and the main issue, the main culprit, is actually they're feeding them a lot of human table scraps as well as their regular food. So that's a very common problem. And another issue is a lack of daily exercise. So just like people, dogs should be out exercising every day. If you yourself don't like running or walking, you can throw a ball, you can have your dog play with another animal. There's lots of different things, there's lots of different options. Another thing that's really, really important is knowing what your dog should weigh and then knowing the weight of your dog. It sounds simple, but you need to actually quantify how overweight your animal is, or whether your animal's fine. Some animals are actually underweight because they're exercising so much and not quite getting enough food. So knowing the ideal weight for your dog, it's based on its breed, it's based on its age, it's based on its sex, and it's also based on whether it's neutered or not. And you can look these things up online. So in the case of Utah, definitely would put them on a diet. Now, what type of food? People always ask me, well, what type of food should I use? There's so many options. The main thing for me is that it's AFCO approved. Now they do these studies and they make sure that the diet is a complete and balanced diet. It doesn't assure the quality of those ingredients, but it does ensure they're getting them in the right balance. Probably about half of the dogs I see are actually overweight. And they have done studies that somewhere between 30 and 50% of dogs are actually overweight. So it's a massive issue. But why should we care about it? Well, there's lots of reasons. They get arthritis, they can get liver disease, they have shorter lifespans, they're more likely to get certain types of cancer. I could go on and on. There's more skin problems. It's going to cost you in vet bills. Your animal's going to have less energy and be less fun to be around. And it can be a little bit embarrassing when you've got a sausage dog that literally looks like a sausage roll walking down the beach and everyone else has got these athletic dogs running around. I mean, I'm not trying to body shame dogs here or anything, but you get the point. It's not good for the animal. So I think we can do it much better, and I really encourage people to have a chat with their vets about what the right diet and amount is. You can check the back of your dog food packets and they actually have feeding guidelines based on your animal's weight. So that's a good start.
Yeah.
Topic 3, toxic food and obstructive objects. Now, Danny, the next thing I'm going to talk about, it's so common that dogs eat things they shouldn't. They get poisoned. There's so many things lying around the house that can poison dogs, and there's a lot of human foods that people don't actually realize dogs can't eat. And there's also things like toxic plants that are everywhere and dogs can eat them. So I'm going to go through these things with you. I can't be bothered explaining them all, so I'm just going to throw them at you. Is that all right?
I'm ready.
You're gonna, all right, there you go. It's a bit yuck. You know.
No, I'm not catching that. Oh, I should have caught more of those.
You can eat them if you want. I won't hurt you with that one. It keeps going.
Garlic.
All right, I'm going to talk about this one. This is 100 grams. So 10 kg dog, so you're kind of like your smallish breed dogs. About 70 grams, so 70% of this. Dead. We'll kill it. Dark chocolate. So people always wonder, their dog's eating some chocolate, they're not sure. Milk chocolate's not so bad. Dark chocolate doesn't take much. Cocoa powder, even less. 50 grams will kill a 10 kg dog. And lower doses will actually make them very sick as well. So either way, if your dog's got into chocolate, call your vet, because they may need to induce vomiting and put it on fluids. We've got a couple more little things here. Dogs shouldn't eat. Oh my gosh. Oh, I've got another thing that's a bit gross. People do this all the time. Toxic. Don't do it. It's not actually toxic in itself, but they can get food poisoning from it, and it's not balanced to just feed them raw meat. I think that's everything. We got through it. Now, Danny, the other thing, along with toxic food, that I want to talk about is things that cause obstructions. So vets are forever pulling out underwear, socks, balls. As you can see, these are classic kind of balls they chew up and swallow bits of or entire. Tennis balls, have seen them in dogs' intestines before. Even rocks. You just got to be so careful. So I really recommend that people get down on their hands and knees and crawl around their house as if they're a dog and just look under things and find objects that your dogs are going to find and pick up and they could eat. Soft plastic as well, even if it's got a bit of sugar or any kind of taste food of it, they might just eat the plastic. Not very smart all the time, but you can literally save yourself a $2,500 surgery by going around and picking up your socks, especially if you've got a puppy. String as well for kittens or dogs. So just go through the house, really think about the things that your dog could be ingesting and clear it out. Now, it's easier said than done, and I know things get missed, but just do your absolute best, because man, it is costly when a dog swallows one of these things.
Good tip.
Topic number 4. Itchy allergies and ear problems. Oh my gosh, I see it every summer, something chronic. Now it's skin and ear disease. Itchy dogs, ear infection, scratching their ears, scratching their skin, chewing on their feet, shaking their head, licking at themselves. It's an absolute nightmare. Now, I'll just spend my whole summer seeing dogs with these conditions. There are a few things you can do to prevent them. If your dog's itchy and it's having chronic problems, you really need to go to the vet, because there's so many different causes. They need to find the cause and then treat it based on what the cause is. I'll go through for some really common things with you. Something I see a lot of is, it's called atopy. Now that's an allergy to something in the environment. It can be grass pollens, tree pollens, dust mites. There's hundreds of different things that can do it. But the dog will get really red and itchy. Especially they get itchy sort of under the armpits, around the feet, around the ears, eyes, places that seem to have a bit less hair. Now it's because the allergens can actually contact the skin more easily in those areas. The other thing that's very, very common are flea allergies. So if a dog has a flea allergy, or a cat for that matter, it actually only takes one flea to bite them and the whole dog will get really itchy. So you might say, no, my dog doesn't have fleas, or there's no fleas in our house. Some people get a bit offended, oh no, he doesn't have fleas. But actually, one flea can do it. So it's really important to have really strict flea control for all of your animals, not just the one dog that has the issue. And actually you have to decontaminate the environment. You have to go through doing hot washes on bedding and blankets and using sort of flea control sprays and things like that. Now, the reason I'm talking about ears and skin in the same section is because they're often linked. Ear infections are very often linked to allergies, especially food allergies. If the dog's showing no other signs, sometimes they can only get ear infections. That could be the only sign of food allergies. Often there's sort of diarrhea and flatulence and things like that as well. But an ear problem actually may be linked to an allergy. Now, in terms of preventing these things, I've talked about flea control. Atopy, there is actually really good oatmeal-based shampoos you can use to sort of soothe the dog and get the allergens off. I've provided a link to a really good product below that people can use. The other thing is, if there are chronic ear problems, obviously you need to go see a vet. The ear infection needs to be treated, but there are ear cleaners that you can use as a maintenance. Once the infection's under control, you can use an ear cleaner, which is commercially available. I'll provide a link to one of those as well. Now, some dogs have really long sort of floppy ears or very hairy ears, and those dogs, it's sort of a conformational issue. You can get on top of it with regular routine cleaning and getting on top of allergies. Now, I know that was a lot of information, Danny. Do you have any questions?
Well, Kiwi Vet, I was just wondering what happens when skin conditions are left untreated?
Well, if you leave it untreated, it can actually lead to secondary infection. So the dog or cat will traumatize their skin so much they'll actually break the surface. Bacteria will get in and it will progress to skin infections, which can start to really smell. The animal will be in a lot of pain and discomfort, and it's just very, very unpleasant. So you really do need to stay on top of these things. It's really important to understand what's doing it and seek appropriate treatment as soon as you possibly can. Topic number 5, grass seeds. Danielle, pop quiz question. What's this?
Flower.
Correct. What's this?
Grass.
What's this?
I would have no idea. A seed?
Grass seed.
Grass seed.
Absolutely. You're bang on. Now, the thing that people don't realise about these little devils is they cause absolute mischief. They get in between the toes and they're like an arrow. So they go one way, they can go forward but they can't go back because of these sort of prongs, just like an arrowhead. They get stuck and they just keep going up deeper, deeper, deeper under the skin. They track up between the toes. They can end up going miles up the leg. And if one gets in the side of the ribs, it can even go into the chest cavity and all the way, it sort of follows the vessels along and ends up in the heart. Vets have found these in the pericardium, which is the heart sac. So if your dog's out running through the grass, check between his toes, make sure you keep the fur nice and short around the feet, and just give them a general check over, make sure there's no grass seeds caught in their fur, because it'll start in the fur and then it'll get under the skin. So if your dog's chewing and licking between its toes, it's very possible if you've been out running in the grass that it's got a grass seed stuck in there and a vet will need to go get it out, which I spend many days doing in the summer. I'll wrap it up there. That's grass seeds, Danny. I don't want to overwhelm you. We've hit 5 major topics. I hope you've enjoyed your time here at Taylor's Mistake. I've really enjoyed having you on the show. How's it been?
It's been awesome. Thanks, Kiwi Vet.
No worries. So there you have it, guys. I hope you really enjoyed those 5 topics that I went over today. And the 5 topics were dental disease, diet and exercise, toxic foods and food or objects that can cause obstructions, allergies and ear problems, and grass seeds. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Subscribe and like if you want to get continual vet content and education. Thank you very much.